Hello everyone. Now let's have a look at this object. What is it? Well, it's a ball. What can we do with a ball? Well, we use a ball to eat. Simply, we put the food that we eat here in this bowl, and then we can use, chopsticks or a spoon, to eat, to put the food to our mouth. Yeah. So basically, when we think of this bowl, we can think of food. Yeah, it's time, for a meal, for example. What about this one? Yeah, in English, you can say it's a cup. So what can we do with this? Yeah, we can drink coffee or Coke, anything like that. Surprisingly, can we use this cup to do something else? Of course we can. During my last trip to Nottingham, I used this cup to eat noodles. I crushed the raw noodles into small pieces before putting them in this cup. Yeah, finally I just put hot water into this cup. So what is the point here? The point is that is the beauty of language. Language shows that we categorize things in the world. This is a cup, it is not a bowl conventionally, and this is just a bowl, it's not really a cup. But to think in terms of something else, we can use this one to drink water. Of course, you can drink, you can put milk in here and then you just drink like this. That is not unusual at all. And then you can eat noodles using this cup. That is just, not unusual as well. Also, I can say that this cup is my friend. Is that meaningful? Of course it is, depending how you understand what I said earlier. Like, you can think that, well, when I look at the cup, I can think of a lot of wonderful moments that I have at my school. Yeah. So in this video, I would like to talk about my deep love for language, not just about words, grammar, or sounds. In my opinion, language is about meanings and how we express who we are. Let me tell you the story about everything that sparked my curiosity about language during my childhood. I lived in Ho Chi Minh City. At that time, my family spoke with the northern accent, while, my caregiver had a central accent. However, surprisingly, I somehow picked up the southern accent. Until now, I cannot speak with the northern accent even when I talk to my family members, which is quite peculiar. The thing is that, I'm the only person in the family to speak with the southern accent, which is of course different from everyone else in the family. Such experiences led me to see the diversity of language in my own country first. You can, for example, in the northern region, this is gop. However, in the southern area, people call it li. Yeah. So there are other aspects that we can consider, but we can talk about it later on. In terms of something else beyond the Vietnamese language, let's talk about English. During my high school, I started, taking IELTS courses. Of course, there were times that I had to question myself in terms of my language proficiency. Little did I know that everything ranging from formality, style, and register varies across languages. That's why, as a high school student, I would struggle with writing and speaking. For instance, there were times that my teachers said that they could not understand what I expressed in my essays, nor could they, clearly see the development of my ideas. Yeah, frustrating as it might seem. The thing is that there is some kind of a gap between English and Vietnamese to address. Like during my primary school, whenever I studied the Vietnamese literature, I was instructed to start my essay indirectly, as long as the first sentence is related to the requirements. Like if you talk about parents, you can go from your love for family before like delving into your parents, describing their personalities and habits, for example. Well, I only made progress when I was gradually sensitive to the culture inherent in the English language, recognizing the differences between English and Vietnamese. For instance, I would, be more aware of my writing style and register whenever I practice writing. Like, instead of writing in a non-linear manner, I would frame my paragraphs in a linear manner so that readers can identify my main points and supporting ideas in my essays. The story was more interesting when it came to my pursuit of the bachelor's degree in English language teacher education. Let's consider this really simple sentence. I'm in love. Alright, what's next? Well, the question is, why do we use the preposition in to describe our love for somebody else? It's like this, this is love, and when you're in love, you're here. This is love, you're in love. What matters is that why don't we use other prepositions such as by, at, or on to describe the same thing? Why in? Why in love? So that sentence shows the meaning of our emotions. Like when you love somebody, everything changes, your life changes. Like somehow you might become significantly happier, you're always elated, but sometimes you can feel nervous when you approach that person. The feelings are inherently overwhelming. It's like you are always surrounded by your emotions. Perhaps, I guess, that's why we say in love. There are many other examples that we might consider, but I will let you, think of this example. Later on we can discuss this one. Yeah, like imagine that you have a lover. Later on, a few days later, you guys have a quarrel. You might feel stuck, and then you may feel hopeless, thereby saying that we are at the end of the road. The question is, why do we use the image of a road to describe the state of our relationships, which is of course meaningful? I'll let you think of that. What matters is that our experiences clearly shape the way we use language, making who we are. If you study sociolinguistics, you can see that the way that you communicate with other people is shaped by various factors, especially context. For example, you can say hi there with your friends, yet you cannot do the same with your professor. In essence, language is not just about vocabulary or grammar. It is about belonging to communities, exchange of ideas, and emotional expressions. Also, language is part of our identity, our beliefs, emotion, and personality. As a language teacher, I strongly believe that language learning is truly meaningful when learners can find their own voices while, responding to the culture that is represented in the language. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that we can have a talk about language in relation to culture and society. Well, see you in the next video.